and welcome to the Game Buzz, the podcast from Dillspone.com, where we dive into the latest news from the industry. I am, of course, not Matt Gardner. He is well and truly gone and away from us, a distant memory. But I am Carl Phillips, and I am joined by Jonathan Lester.
What's gorgeous?
And filling the fuzzy void is none other than our very own Brendan Griffiths. Hello, Brendan.
Hello.
This podcast we're going to be dedicating completely to E3 because it's next week. It's going to be huge, and we've already had a lot of news come out in the run-up to it. It's been a really busy week, actually. But before we get into the main conferences, there was one yesterday for the Oculus Rift, which was dedicated completely to the headset, which we saw for the first time, and a few other reveals. So, guys, let's start off with the headset itself. What did you feel about that initial reveal when we actually saw the full consumer product for the first time?
It looks great. Also, can I just point out that I'm really ill?
Yes, should probably point that as well, yeah.
I'm hopped up on caffeine and codeine, and I should be. I've got about half an hour, I think, before I fall unconscious
before you
again.
Die. But you're here. We appreciate your dedication.
And absolutely. So the what I like about the headset is that it's just shrunk. Like Oculus has always been this big clunky thing.
Yeah.
But now it's this really svelte, really high-tech, really comfortable-looking headset. And, of course, that comes down to the fact that it was built by Carbon, who designed the original Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they know their shit a bit inherently.
Yeah.
And it's clear that they've knocked up a really nice bit of kit.
Absolutely. Brendan, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, like John, I think they've streamlined it really well. It looks so much better than some of the earlier builds I've had on my face. And it just looks nice and light compared to what we've seen with Project Morpheus.
Yes, absolutely.
And hopefully that thing's shrunk down a little. I'm really excited about the new controllers, though, really. The hand one, well, Oculus Touch, as it's called.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But, I mean, the things that I like about this the new version that's come out is the fact that you can see the slider for manipulating how far the lenses are from your eyes, and the whole material outside of it. Like, it looks like a premium product, and it just looks gorgeous. Like you say, it looks lightweight. I mean, he was holding it with one hand. It looks fantastic. I mean, the price point is going to be very important, but at least we know we're going to be getting it next year, along with an Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys feel about that whole partnership that was announced yesterday with the fact that you're going to be able to stream your Xbox One to the Oculus Rift?
That was weird. First of all, as much as anything, I didn't think that the Xbox One would be capable of supporting that. With all due respect to the Xbox One, I love my Xbox One, but it's not a beast in terms of processing power.
Yeah,
and you need a lot of it for VR. So I've got to assume that it's going to ship with a little box that's going to deal with most of the processing between the Xbox and the headset.
Yeah.
The other thing is as well, I mean, where the hell has this partnership come from? They should have easily been able to. I think a few of our commenters have said this. Microsoft would have been able to buy Oculus. And in fact, at the time, we were saying, why the hell didn't Microsoft buy Oculus as opposed to, for use with Windows 10 PCs and Xbox One, rather than Facebook?
Yeah.
But bizarrely, it seems like they've got all the benefits of the buyout without actually having to spend much money.
Absolutely.
So actually, they must be laughing right now.
Well, yeah, they can take someone's actually said this online, I can't remember where, but they've said that they can take the best bits from the Oculus and now apply it to the HoloLens, pretty much. And it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Like I say, I wasn't expecting that kind of partnership, and it's debatable whether it's going to be useful in terms of having the ability to play Xbox One games on your TV, but hey, you can play it on the Oculus Rift, and I suppose as long as they've got the 3D aspect there, then there's a reason to do that, but otherwise it just seems a bit odd in a way. But yes, that is the Oculus Rift itself, but as Brendan pointed out, they did announce a new controller, the Oculus Touch, which is going to have two mirrored controllers that you have in each hand. Guys, what are your initial thoughts on the Oculus Touch?
I think it's going to be... So go on, John.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know, it just looks weird. I can't really... I've got no idea whether or not that's going to translate to a good gaming experience or not.
You weren't convinced at all then?
Well, not if it's compatible with Xbox, 360 or Xbox One controllers. I mean, I guess you've got to have something like that. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of it yet, really.
Yeah. Were you expecting more of an actual Power Glove, as was being teased in the run-up? Like,
Damn right I was. In fact, what I will say is I was expecting the finished product to look a little more badass than it actually turned out. Because what I will say is that the Vive looks like exactly what I've always wanted a VR headset to look like. You know, it looks like one of them Ghost in the Shell visors.
Yeah.
Oculus looks kind of, I mean, it looks really neat and comfortable, but it looks kind of boring, doesn't it? And those controllers as well. I want like fins and little light up LEDs and all manner of like just craziness going on there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If you had all the craziness, your head would just be weighed down all the time. You'd just be like, you'd get terrible neck strain because you've got these wings off the side. You're like, I don't know. I think it's probably for the best of everyone's health that they kept it as lightweight as possible.
That's probably true.
But yeah, Brendan, your thoughts on the Touch?
Well, I'm hoping it'll be used more for games, sort of like your first-person adventure games where you're picking up items more. I think Matt demoed something a while ago. It was with a different hand control, and it's more for things like that, really. I'm hoping the motion tracking's going to be up to scratch, because I think if you can look down with the Oculus while you're moving with, say, these Oculus Touch handpieces.
Yeah.
And as you're moving your arms in real life, it's represented on screen. I think that'll be amazing as far as like really immersing you into the game. And just being able to like pick up things, because you'll be able to like press the trigger, I reckon, while you're moving your hand, and that'll like replicate picking something up. And the haptic feedbacks that they didn't really mention much in detail at all.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll give you some sort of physicality to touching something. Maybe it'll give you a nudge when you do reach a surface, per se.
Yeah.
And again, it's just making you feel like you are there a little bit more, really.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I like John, I felt that the actual initial design of it looked a little weird. Like, it did look quite flimsy. But at the same time, it's got some interesting potential. Although the fact that you're only going to have 2 buttons on each side, like they say that it's going to be able to replicate first-person shooters, but of course on a traditional controller you've got 4 buttons on one side and then the D-pad on the other. And I'm just wondering whether it's going to have enough inputs to be able to replicate the full thing.
I'm going to tell you right now, first-person shooters is one of the worst things possible for VR. They don't work. You've got to go through, even if you've got that sort of new, I guess, motion style controller.
Yeah.
The disconnect between what you're seeing and what you're actually doing leads to vomit almost instantly.
Yeah, I remember Matt saying.
Don't even bother with first-person shooters. They've got to redesign that genre from the ground up to make it work on VR. You can't just make a game just work in VR perfectly. You've got to really think about it. What I do think these will be for, though, Brendan was totally right. It's not about first-person shooters. It's about new first-person experiences.
Yeah.
About being able to replicate your arms in that sort of 3D space. I think that's going to be very cool. And also, they look almost like those pod racer handles.
I know, that's true. Yeah.
So,
very thin, flimsy
now.
version of them.
First person, they look almost exactly like that. So come on now, EA. First person pod racing, fucking VR, do it.
Give it as an Xbox exclusive. It's right there. We've just given you more blue sky thinking here from the Dealsbone team. Do it, EA.
Yeah.
Get on that. So there was a lot of interesting chatter about the fact that people were surprised that they're going to be shipping an Xbox One controller with the Oculus when they're bringing out their own controller as well. I mean, do you guys feel that that was the right move in the long run, or do you think people are just not necessarily going to bother getting the Touch if they've already got an Xbox One controller with the headset?
It depends on what games are available for it, really. If there are only a couple available, people are like, well, that's probably another, let's say, 50 quid for the Touch controller that I might not want to spend, like PS Move or something like that. It's just extra clutter, so it'll need the games to support it, really.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for it.
One last thing before we move on from Oculus. We did see a couple of games for it. We got the new Insomniac game coming out. What was it, Edge of Nowhere?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on those? Because they were both third-person experiences, and I've always had a bit of reservation on whether third-person games can actually work in a VR experience. But I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the ones that were actually shown yesterday?
Same, really. I sort of don't see the point of having a third-person game being created for VR. I mean, I'd love to be proved wrong.
Yeah.
Like, once I try it, and it'd be nice looking around, but you're always going to be looking like behind somebody. Could be weird, really.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember I've spoken to a couple of developers quite a while back about this, about how they weren't sure that it could necessarily work, and the ways that they'd seen it done before hadn't really worked out at all. But they were just waiting. It needs just one person to find a way to make it work in terms of third-person experiences. And then that opens up a whole new world. But like you, I just don't see how it can necessarily work, because there's going to be that disconnect. It's like, yes, you can control the character on the screen, but at the same time, you aren't that person. Whereas for obviously first-person experiences, you are. So yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see how that works without, as John's pointed out with the first-person shooting things, making everyone vomit everywhere, which of course we don't want. We don't want.
The thing is, I just basically stopped watching as soon as I saw Eve Valkyrie, because that's all you're going to need.
Very true.
VR is brilliant for a number of things, but the main thing it's good at is simulations of any kind.
Yes.
Because you're already sat down, and like with the way VR works, the less disconnect between what you're seeing and what you're physically doing, the more immersive and the less vomitous the experience is.
Absolutely.
So for any kind of simulation where you're sitting down and would have some sort of controller in your hand, whether it's a steering wheel or a flight yoke or whatever, the more enjoyable the experience is. So Eve Valkyrie is going to rock on that thing. Elite Dangerous is going to rock on that thing. Presumably, Star Citizen.
Well, half of
a
it.
whole bunch of ass on that thing.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking for. Oh, don't get me wrong, like Project Cars and loads of racing games as well. So really looking forward to basically just enjoying a new golden age of simulations.
Absolutely. Right, let's move on from the Oculus and get on to the three big conferences. Let's start off with Sony. Now, there's been a lot of announcements this week in terms of game reveals and so like trailers and stuff like that. And it's kind of leaves the impression, what are they actually going to show at their conference? I mean, Brendan, you are our PlayStation expert. I mean, what do you think is actually going to be shown at the show beyond? So obviously we'll see some like live gameplay, but what have Sony got left in the bag to actually show off?
iPad, Carl.
To be fair, that hasn't come out. We need more iPad. Are we just going to have more random robot abuse from Playroom, perhaps? And John will get upset again. I mean, really, what have they got that they can actually show off that will really surprise us, apart from The Last Guardian, which is almost certainly the worst kept secret ever?
Well, I think another Uncharted stage demo is a given, but as far as like surprises go, I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that Guerrilla Games are going to show us what the hell they're doing with giant robots and tribes people all fighting each other. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
Show us that. That's all I want.
I couldn't.
Mecha dinosaurs.
I could not agree with you more. Like that whole concept looks fantastic, and we know next to nothing about it. And it really is about time, because Guerrilla have been very quiet as of late. So hopefully we will see some of that. John, what about you? What do you think Sony could potentially show that will get people excited for this year specifically?
Oh, they're going to show us more of God of War 3 remastered. Which is just going to hooty hoo, yes, the most pointless remaster I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean, they'll show more of the Uncharted collection, I guess. And some of those cool boutique titles like what's it, the Tomorrow Children or whatever it's called, that look badass. But you know what I want. You know what I want. You know what I want them to come out and announce. And I'm sorry, guys, but I'm going to say it. I want them to show The Last Guardian.
I think it's... Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know we've done this every fucking year.
Yep.
We do this. Every year we dance. It's just stupid dance. But this year, I think... surely it's time for The Last Guardian to be officially re-announced.
Yeah.
Because they need, with Uncharted delayed, they need something big for this Christmas. They've been working on it, apparently, for years. They've been adapting it for the PS4 now for 2 years, apparently. That should be enough time. And, now don't get me wrong, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence for this, although The Guardian have admitted that when they wrote that they had it on good authority that The
Yeah.
Last Guardian would appear at E3 2015, what they actually meant was they kind of assumed, probably, like they had actually no evidence and hadn't heard from anyone. They were just lying.
It's
But,
all giant lies.
But even so, I honestly think it's time. Otherwise, though, I think it's also time for them to actually reveal more new God of War as well.
Absolutely, that is what I want 100%. Like, to be fair, they could be setting it up much like with the Uncharted series. You've got the remastered games to kind of keep people busy, but then I'll announce God of War 4, which will allow us to kill every single god ever existed ever. And it's that's really what I want. I mean, we've wanted something new from the God of War series for absolutely ages. So come on, Sony, come on, deliver, show us something awesome. That's what we want.
Now, I wonder what they're going to show us in terms of No Man's Sky. Well,
Yes.
because that's, the release date for that's still up in the air. It would be a real. Oh, apparently they're going huge on Morpheus as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they announce a proper release date for Morpheus. And I got to be honest, I wonder if No Man's Sky will be the flagship title for that hardware as well.
In a way, I kind of hope so, but then you've got the problem, as we've just been discussing about Oculus. Half the game would be fantastic because you're in a ship, but the other half, we're in first-person mode. You'll just like go from being, oh man, this is awesome, to blah blah blah, throwing up everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be fast-paced, slippery, twitchy third-person action. Like, it's going to be more just looking around, going, "Ooh, this planet's really pretty."
Ooh, that's a big pink dinosaur.
Just looking, just standing still, moving your head around, going, "Oh, isn't this place lovely?" Right back in the ship. So I think it could work really well. It would be nice if they announced a release date for both of those things. Really.
Yeah.
Because we want both of those things. Morpheus is actually shaping up to be really sweet, so I can't wait to see what they do with that.
So let's just hope that they've got it. Because, like I say, the release schedule for this year is, without the third-party support, very thin. Last year we were kind of surprised by the fact that the only big Christmas release that they had was Little Big Planet 3. And yes, okay, they're going to have the Uncharted collection coming out this year, but there isn't really that much in the way of true PlayStation 4 exclusives. I mean, are we a bit worried that they haven't necessarily got something again this year, or do you think they might have something that they'll be able to pull out the bag that does surprise us?
Well, hey, I bet a bunch of third-party games will have PlayStation exclusive content. I'm pretty sure that they're going to line up like a cavalcade of third-party devs who are just going to come up and go, "Hey, look, this game's got like some random DLC that you can only have on PlayStation 4." Like Bungie are going to get up and go, "Hey, look, here's the Taken King, better on PS4." But yeah, I do think that they're probably going to lack wow factor this year, unless they release and reveal The Last Guardian, which would be rad.
Basically, Last Guardian or bust. Is that what we're taking away from our analysis of Sony?
It's not bust. The thing is, like we wrote in our prediction pieces, we said, the pressure is on for PS4, but they've got such an unassailable lead.
They
and
are
such
comfortable,
a huge install base. They can quite easily coast this one, and a part of me wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Well, there you have it. That's Sony. Let's quickly move on to Microsoft. Now, today we've had the news that we definitely won't be seeing Quantum Break, Scalebound, or what's the third game that they have said that won't be there?
Crackdown, mate.
Crackdown, that's it. How could I forget about Crackdown? Those
How
three.
Could you forget about Crackdown?
I know. Well, to be fair, we've only seen a slight trailer for it. That's what.
Yeah, a year ago.
But like they are definitely not going to be shown this year. And again, it's a very similar thing of really what have Microsoft got that they could be showing us. I mean, yes, Halo 5 will be there, and will no doubt swoon over the virtual Nathan Fillions. But the fact that they've got that Forza, really, what else have they got to show? I mean, do they have a serious amount of surprises that we aren't expecting? Have they managed to get some exclusives? I mean, there's been the rumours, very sort of like wild speculation about Silent Hills. I mean, is that? Do you think there'll be any truth to that whatsoever?
No, they've already said that there isn't any truth to that. I mean, it would be really funny if they did, but yeah. I doubt there will be. No, I mean, firstly, they're going to go big on the trifecta of Halo 5. That's a freaking huge game. And that's definitely coming out this year. They're going to go big on Rise of the Tomb Raider. Again, another huge exclusive that's coming out this year.
Yeah.
They're going to go big on Forza, which, actually, I've got to be honest, I mean, Forza Horizon 2 is so big and so good, I don't see why we really need Forza 6, to be honest. But hey, it's always nice to have. The other thing they're going to go big on is Gears of War.
Yes.
Now, we pretty much know that there's going to be the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which, as far as we know, is just a remake of the first Gears of War, with its multiplayer suite and campaign intact, which seems like pretty, poor value until you realise that it did actually come out 8 years ago. And more to the point, the last time they tried to bundle multiple games together with all their multiplayer as well.
Yeah, it did not work out
It
too
took
well.
them a fair few... Well, it worked out brilliantly until
Initially,
you wanted to play in multiplayer.
Yeah.
At which point, it took about 6 months to actually make it ship-shape.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, there's still... I mean, all of that, admittedly, it's nowhere near as long as the Sony one. I think it's only going to be an hour and a bit. So, they're going to show... What else are they going to show? Probably Fable Legends, a game that...
Do we actually care about?
Really, no. And the reason I sound cagey is that I'm actually in the beta, which is NDA'd up the arse.
Yes, so we can't talk about it.
But so no, I can't talk about the beta, but I can tell you that I just this second remembered that I'm in it. And I played it pretty recently, but I literally just remembered, oh yeah, Fable Legends is a thing that exists. So that's quite telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting. I mean, there are rumours that Call of Duty won't be an Xbox One. They won't have the Microsoft
timed exclusivity,
partnership this year. If it does, though, we'll see a whole bunch of it in the Xbox conference.
It'll be a bit weird for Call of Duty not to kind of open the show, as it has done for God knows how long. But, I mean, yeah, it is kind of about time that they perhaps broaden their horizons, got in some new stuff, much like, Tomb Raider as well. But, yeah, Brendan, what are your thoughts on what you think Microsoft might actually bring to the show this year?
Well, if they announce a proper new Gears of War, like Gears of War 4...
Yes, please.
I'd buy an Xbox One for that. Gears of War is like the reason I eventually bought a 360, like a few years after it came out, so brand new Gears, I'd be all over that. Like the remaster of the original, I think I'd only really be interested in that if it was the whole trilogy, because, well, it's the whole value for money, really.
Well,
but I'm not too bothered about the multiplayer side of it, though, so...
To be honest, I'd be happy enough with Gears 1 and 2. I mean, they could leave 3, as far as I'm concerned. I don't really give a shit if they don't include 3. But, no, I know what you mean, man. It'd be nice to have the whole story, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm not too worried about Judgment, because it's prequel and there are no bosses in it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's better than 3. But otherwise, it was completely peripheral. Speaking of peripherals, though, one might suggest that they might go big on Oculus.
Yeah.
They
will.
Because, I mean, presumably it'll be compatible with Windows 10 as well. So, and remember, they've got Windows 10 coming out. I mean, is it possible they're going to show off a load of the new features of Windows 10 with all the cross-play?
Yeah, they have said,
Might they even say, like... Boom, Forza 6 also coming out on PC, crossplay. Might they even do it with Halo? I bet they won't.
It would be very... I just can't see it happening.
It would be ill-advised, I think, considering that the Xbox One... I mean, the exclusives are what it's got going for it right now. It would be very dangerous to see those.
Well, I mean, they have said that they are going to be doing a renewed push for PC gaming. I mean, we will get onto it in a bit, but they have said that they are going to be in some form of appearance at the PC show that's going to be happening. And they have said that they are going to be showing off some stuff in terms of PC connectivity this year. And they have shown that, you're going to be able to link your Xbox to your PC for streaming experiences. But it'll be interesting to see just how far they pushed it. We've got the cross-play with Fable. Forza actually wouldn't be too bad a stretch, I think. But yeah, Halo, I just can't see them doing, really.
No, I hope they don't. But actually, no, I don't really care. I've got a PC as well as an Xbox One. The more people that get to play it, the better.
Absolutely.
But yeah, whether they will is another matter. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But I assume that they're going to go pretty big on that, and they'll probably recap some of the recent announcements, like the price drop. the 1 terabyte model, new
Yes.
controllers. They're probably going to recap that as well.
Right, so that is Microsoft. Let's move on to Nintendo, who really, I actually think there's an amount that really could surprise us this year, but I think we're kind of just banking on Star Fox, aren't we? We just really want Star Fox to appear. And as you said recently, John, you're not too sure whether it will in a substantial amount. If I understood what you said in a post today, like, do you think that Star Fox will be there and will wow us?
It'll be there. But it's the same thing as Scalebound and Crackdown.
Yes.
The fact that we haven't seen any gameplay or anything out of either of those games, which leads me to suspect that they're not going to be released this year, and they were revealed too early. We've seen even less of Star Fox.
Yeah.
This game is supposed to be coming out in sometime in the next 6 months. We haven't seen a single screenshot. We haven't seen a single piece of in-engine footage unless you count the blurry little screen of a prototype
Yeah.
in that little video with Miyamoto. And that itself, again, was a prototype of a little motion control minigame. So a part of me wonders if Star Fox will even release this year at all. We will see it. I mean, they have to announce it. But I don't know. I hope it does release this year, and I want it this year. I want it so bad. But the cynical part of me, and I've been in this game a little while now, it seems like we'd have heard a lot more about it by now.
Yeah.
If it was coming out this year. I mean, we saw a shitload about Zelda last year, and that's not even coming out this year. So, that's deeply disappointing. What we will see is lots of Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I'm actually much more excited about than Star Fox. It looks absolutely brilliant. I can't wait. Xenoblade Chronicles, I hate to sound like a broken record, but Xenoblade Chronicles is one of the best JRPGs ever. Xenoblade Chronicles X adds an even bigger open world and mechs.
It does look really, really, really
sorry,
good.
Final Fantasy 15, but I mean, yeah, you've got a car.
A car and a boy band. Hey,
yeah,
let's not underplay it. Like,
this game also has the open world and also enormous, massive mechs.
Yeah.
Now, Retro have been teasing a potential new game. Now, I hope that, it's probably going to be more Donkey Kong.
Probably.
I hope that it's Metroid.
I think
it needs to be Metroid, but knowing Retro's form of late, it's probably going to be more Donkey Kong. What else we're going to see? We're going to see a fair bit of Yoshi's Woolly World, because that game will be coming out very shortly after E3.
Yeah, and you've given that a very positive write-up in your hands-on preview recently.
Yeah,
which is on site. Do give it a read if you haven't seen it.
They sent me a review copy, and then I was looking through the embargo. I mean, big old embargo as per usual.
Yep.
And looking through the NDA, and it said, yeah, if you want to write a preview, then go for it. I was like, yeah, all right. I can't make a value judgment on it, because, it's a preview. Except that I totally can, and it's brilliant. So it really is it's more imaginative than any of the Mario games I've played in years.
Yeah.
It's it feels more like Rayman. It's brilliant, loads of cool physics-based
Which,
stuff.
to me, is a fantastic endorsement. Like, if you're comparing it to Rayman...
don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near as fast as Rayman. I mean, Yoshi's kind of... If you've ever played a Yoshi game, he's quite slow, and he's got his adorable flutter jump, but it is sweet. That game deserves a lot more publicity. And then otherwise we'll just see a lot more of the games we already know about. We'll see a lot more of Mario Maker. We might get to see more of Bravely Second, although it's possible that Square will, because they've already announced that that's coming to Europe, and that's going to be amazing. But Square might hog that announcement.
Almost certainly. I mean, we'll probably see some Fire Emblem. Is it IF or IF? I can't remember how you don't actually pronounce that one.
I think it's just Fire Emblem. I don't think they've confirmed a Western subtitle yet.
Right, okay. But I mean, will we see something from that? Perhaps even a Western release date for it?
Yes, hopefully. And we do desperately need to see more of Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei. Which, I mean, we saw a little bit more of that recently in some more screenshots, but goddamn, that's a huge crossover. That's a massive crossover, and we need to see a lot more of that.
Now, I mean, last year we said that, Nintendo actually did a really good job in terms of what it brought. Do you think that they can do another surprise this year and sort of like catch everyone off guard? Do you think they're capable of doing that?
Well, they need to really, because they're in this really unique situation where they were so stupid announcing the NX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really stupid, because now, like, the whole narrative is about the NX. They've said that they won't announce it this year, which means that they will announce it next year, and basically the Wii U now has a year to live. So it seems bizarre. They absolutely have to pull it out of the bag right now. I mean, they need to announce Metroid. If I was cynical, I'd suggest that Zelda has now been repurposed as an NX launch title. But, I mean, really, they need to show us more of that. Announce the actual name of the game and say, this is definitely coming next year for the Wii U. And I really hope they do. I mean, if they do that, I think that Nintendo could pull it out of the bag again. I think they won E3 handily last year, and I think they could do it again. They've got great games. They've got great exclusives like no one else does. But how many of them they'll release this year and how cagey they'll be, it's always impossible to tell with Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I love them, but it's also one of the reasons why we're often just so exasperated.
Absolutely. Brendan, you don't have the Nintendo consoles, but I mean, do you think there's anything that will actually kind of sway it for you that might actually convince you to get a Nintendo console or handheld this year that they could show at this year's E3?
I've no interest in the handheld, but I'm definitely up for getting a Wii U. I'm pretty much hanging on for a Black Friday deal, really.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're now, it's not exactly an expensive console, but because Microsoft and Sony have been hacking each other to pieces and reducing the cost of their consoles, there's not going to be much between the prices of them around Christmas. So for the sake of like probably £50 at the moment, people might think, I've got a PS4, do I want a Wii U or an Xbox One as well? Like, well, I might as well get the Xbox One, because there's not much difference, and there's those solid exclusives like for the Gears and Tomb Raider. But I think if Nintendo knock a little bit more money off, put a bigger gap between the other consoles, then it will be more of an attractive purchase for, like, what I could do with a Wii U to go with my PS4 or my Xbox One, just for all like the great titles that are going to be a good multiplayer blast like Splatoon and Mario Kart. So I think if they can sort of position themselves there and emphasize the strong line of exclusives they already have, that would be a great thing, really. So a bundle for £200 with like two
thereabouts. Yeah, we've been featuring a lot of those bundles recently on site. Yeah. And you know what, I pretty much agree with your assessment. Like, I couldn't add anything to it. I'm in that exact camp. Like, there are many multiplayer games that I know are fun. Like John has told us, Matt told us in all of the reviews that have gone up on site. But there's still something that has kept me back, and I think I might finally crack for Xenoblade Chronicles X. But yeah, I think once we see some more attractive bundles, for me personally, I mean, there have been some very good bundles out there, but once there's something that really speaks to me in terms of the games that are coming out, then I will probably jump on it. But like you, probably Christmas time by the time I actually do that. But yes, that is Nintendo. There's also going to be the big PC show this year. It's the first time they're doing it. We haven't actually run any predictions for it on site, so we'll quickly do some now. John, what do you think we're going to be seeing from this PC-centric show?
A bunch of PC games. I mean, it's sponsored by AMD, so I hope they're going to come out and say, hey guys, we've decided that we're actually going to issue more driver updates now.
That would be nice.
And we're getting our act together. Here are a bunch of really cool new cards. Here's a bunch of much better update software. Because Nvidia have been ruining them recently. Nvidia have been absolutely crushing them.
Yes.
And it's causing a lot of developers to say, hey, Nvidia are giving us all these really cool tools that let us do awesome stuff. And AMD aren't. So it's leading to games actually performing and running and looking better on NVIDIA systems. I assume there's going to be a lot of AMD going, hey, we still exist. Otherwise, like, Microsoft are attending. That's huge. I assume because that's actually a really big deal. It's nice to see Microsoft getting involved with the PC gaming again in a big way. So they're going to be showing off Windows 10's Xbox streaming. They're going to be, I assume, going big on Oculus again. Because they must be laughing because it was like I said earlier. Facebook bought them, but Microsoft are getting all the benefits.
Really are.
Like they must be so chuffed with how that's turned out. But yeah, and they'll be showing off that. They'll be showing off the new DirectX, I would assume, and basically just mentioning that pretty much all gaming PCs are powered by Windows, and you shouldn't pay any attention to those silly Steam machines and Steam OS.
Yeah, I was just going to get to that actually. Valve have said that they are not attending E3 this year. Now
which is exactly what they'd say if they were going to come out in the middle of I don't know, the PC gaming show or just Nintendo's press conference. I don't know, Nintendo Direct just Neil come out going Half-Life 3 exclusively on Wii U. But that's exactly what they'd say if they were turning up and announcing something huge. But then again, I mean, when was the last time they did actually announce something huge?
Yeah, they don't have to. That's the thing with Valve. They could just turn around tomorrow and go, oh yeah, it's Half-Life 3's here. Go on then. And people will just buy it in droves. But I mean, it's surprising considering that, they are trying to now really get into the living room in terms of the Steam OS, and the fact that we've now got release dates and prices on the Steam machines and the controller. Like the fact you would have thought that they might attempt to get it out there. I mean, at the moment, they've just been aiming it at the PC audience. And that's not really the audience they want to necessarily be aiming at. They want to be aiming it at the casual PC user, such as think of someone I could use right now, Brendan. Really, they should be aiming this at you so that you will get involved in buying a PC that will actually run the big titles. But the fact they're not doing that, is it a missed opportunity? Should they actually be there?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's the only bit of interest I might even have on the PC presentation. If I'm probably just going to catch up on some much needed sleep, to be honest, around then. There's not going to be any Steam information there. But it'd just be nice to get some UK prices, which won't happen at E3 because it's in LA. But
yeah, just
a better idea of general prices and the specs per pound or per dollar. And then we can just finally get on with the fact we might as well build a rig instead, because I don't want to pay extra £200 or dollars just for the convenience of not having to do it myself, really.
Absolutely, and you'll have Windows, which means you won't have to faff about with any Linux stuff, which is completely different to Windows. So yes, do we think that there will be any sort of surprises in terms of the PC side of it? Because I can't think of anything off the top of my head that will really surprised me in terms of the PC show. I mean, they've already said that Bosky, which is Cliff Bleszinski's company, they're not going to be there to show off anything, although he will be there in person, but the company itself won't be showing off their new project, which is Blue Streak. I mean, do you guys think that there could potentially be a a jaw-dropping announcement made at the PC show, or will companies save it for their respective conferences?
Square Enix are going to announce an 8K version of Final Fantasy VII.
I'm telling you,
around the pixels.
I tell you what, if Square Enix even dare try and tease a Final Fantasy remake again and not deliver on the remake we actually want, the internet will explode. Everyone will be massacred inside of the actual press conference hall. No one will make it out alive, and the internet will be forever changed. They should just ban the term Final Fantasy VII Remake and be done with it. They should just not bother.
It was just my favourite thing in that presentation. Years ago, oh, here's the theme tune, and everyone's face is just fucking what? What is this? Why do you do this to us?
Yeah. Oh, man.
But yeah, I got to tell you, I think the PC gaming show is going to fizzle. And I hate to be that guy, but I mean, you've only got to look at the participants. I mean, yeah, Cliff Bleszinski will be there and he might announce a new game, maybe. Dean Hall will be there and be like, hey, look, DayZ's coming along pretty well. I mean, Devolver will be there and say, look, we published some cool, smaller games. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Fulbright company, great. Frictional games, awesome. Maybe a new Amnesia. Paradox.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone there. I mean, yes, it's Square Enix. There is interesting. I mean, they're probably just there to hammer home the fact Type 0 HD is coming out on PC.
That and Final Fantasy 14 is still making all of the money inexplicably.
Yeah. Also, it's really sweet. And I
It
wish
is.
we had more time to. Yeah. So they might go big on that, and Heaven's Wood, I guess. I mean, it'd be cool. They might come out and say, "Hey, look, Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, that's going to be even better on PC. That'd be great." But I got to be honest. I mean, yeah, Blizzard will be there. Cool. We probably see a bit of Overwatch.
That would be nice, actually. Yeah, that would.
But I don't. And ArenaNet will be like, "Hey, look, what is it?
Heart of Thorns.
Yeah, Heart of Thorns. Like, hey, look, this looks sweet." And we'll say, "Yes, it does." But I think we're going to look at this thing and say, I mean, does this really need to be an event? I mean, to me, it seems like PC Gamer and a few people thought, hell yeah, there's no big PC event at E3. We should do our own. It's going to be amazing. And actually, I'm not entirely convinced that they necessarily need to do one. Actually.
Yeah,
I know, especially if they'd done this. I mean, part of the fact is that E3 is big and stupid and bullshit and so noisy that everything gets lost anyway.
Very much.
And this is going to be no exception because, you know, they might announce a few things and there'll probably be some cool stuff. But people are still going to be talking about the Microsoft and Sony presses. And if they'd held this at any different time of year, they could have had their whole platform to themselves, had the whole stage to themselves. I don't know. The proof will be in the pudding, and I'm ready to be surprised. But I think this thing is a bit of a gimmick, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
and
is...
I don't want to put it out there. I'm a big PC gamer. I'm not just hating on PC gaming. I just don't really see the point.
I mean, well, this is the thing. Like, in terms of big reveals, I mean, if Bethesda weren't doing their press conference, then that would probably be a fantastic reveal to be shown at the PC one. But the truth is, because Fallout 4 is going to be shown there, because we're going to be seeing the new Doom game at the Bethesda one, those could have been huge opportunities for a PC show. And yeah, they might show them in some capacity, but they're really going to be saving them for their own press conference. And it's kind of the same with Square Enix. Yes, they will be there to probably go and remind gamers, hey, we do have stuff out on PC, but they will save their best stuff for their own show. They won't want to give the best stuff away. And you're right, this is why I'm saying, what can really truly surprise people when you're going to be saving the best stuff for other shows? I really do hope that we are surprised. I do hope that we are given a reason to be truly excited about PC gaming, because there are fantastic experiences to be found on there. But yeah,
but here's the thing: PC gaming doesn't need its own show. We're already excited about PC gaming.
Yeah,
PC gaming news is delivered to us digitally every day, directly into our brains. It doesn't need the ridiculous pomp of an E3 event. We're already super excited about PC gaming. I don't know. Just seems like a huge gimmick to me. I'm willing to be surprised, but I bet I'm not going to be.
Like I say, let's hope that something happens, but let's not be too expecting of a big surprise. Right, let's just quickly cover the other three. Ubisoft, Bethesda, and Square Enix. Obviously, we're going to have... And EA. EA. That whole thing with Mass Effect. Yeah, I mean, let's quickly go on. Ubisoft. What are we most looking forward to from the Ubisoft presser? If you could pick one thing, what is it that you're looking forward to? John.
I guess it would be Rainbow Six Siege. I hope they announce Beyond Good and Evil 2, but with Michel Ancel probably out of the picture.
Yeah.
Seeing as he's working on Wild now.
Which I am looking forward to, yes.
Oh, damn right. I don't know. I guess Rainbow Six Siege. Syndicate, I mean, we've already seen a whole bunch of Syndicate. I don't know what more they can show.
Actual gameplay would be nice. They really need to show it after the fact that AC Unity really didn't achieve what it should have. I really do hope that Syndicate actually gets back on form, because that's kind of the whole running theme of Ubisoft's press conference, isn't it? They need to win back the goodwill of gamers after a very disastrous year, and possibly show off The Division, because it's about damn time. Brendan, your quick thoughts on Ubisoft. I mean, what are you most looking forward to from that show?
All the stuff that we already know exists, I just don't really care about, to be honest. Rainbow Six reminds me of Evolve a bit too much. The Division, I'm ready to be excited about that if they can show me something fresh about it, but I'd much rather they announce something new, like either a Prince of Persia reboot or even just a new Far Cry. really, because everything else just looks really grey and miserable.
Grey and miserable and all.
Yeah, but Just Dance 2016, man.
Woo!
That's
Yeah.
GOTY material. What? I hope they announce more smaller digital titles as well. I mean, they did such a great job with Child of Light and Valiant Hearts.
Yeah.
That I
Yes.
really hope they're using that OBR engine for a bunch more. I mean, there's going to be a sequel to Child of Light, I believe. So hopefully they'll show that off.
That will be good. Because it's
Yeah.
either that or they'll just flood the stage with rabbids.
Yeah.
All the rabbids. Oh dear. Right, okay, so that's Ubisoft. Let's move on to EA, because they are in fact going to be there. I'm not gonna lie.
The reason you forgot about them is that they might as well have not shown up last year.
That's the thing. They
turned out it
brought
was
a
the most
vampire to the
pointless-
show.
The most
so-
pointless, reptilian alien lizard. He looked like the bad guy from like a Fifth Element sequel.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, EA should actually have some stuff to show us this year. It should be
It's
a
all
pretty
about Mass
cracking
Effect.
show for them.
It's all about Mass Effect. I'm so looking forward to seeing something about that. Like, I just want to see Mass Effect 4 or whatever the hell they're going to end up calling it. But yeah, Brendan, what about you? You looking anything particular that you are looking forward to from the EA conference?
I just want Mirror's Edge Catalyst to blow me away and be my game of the show, really. Love the original, and I know it was like a little bit rough in some areas. There's definitely some bits that could be refined a little, but I think it was a great start. A lot of new ideas, and just more, please. And this year would be great, but it's not going to happen because of Battlefront, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, are we looking forward to Battlefront? I mean, we're going to be seeing the Battle of Hoth.
Yes, we are. We're going to be seeing Star Wars. Well, actually, they should have a pretty killer show lined up, because as well as the games you've already mentioned, like Mass Effect and Mirror's Edge Catalyst, we're also going to be seeing, one can assume, a whole bunch of Star Wars Battlefront, which should be absolutely awesome. I mean, we should see a whole load of gameplay. Hopefully they'll do what they did with Hardline and go, the beta's available now.
Yes,
Drop the mic.
absolutely.
That would be amazing if they did that. They really need to do that. They'll also be showing off the full debut of the new Need for Speed.
Yep.
Which is broadly exciting. I mean, Ghost games are ex-Criterion, and whether or not Criterion will be there themselves is another matter. They may have more to tell us about their Beyond Cars game, whatever it's called. And I mean, the thing is, I'm sure I'm going to have the same complaint about EA's press conference that I do every year, which is that EA Sports should have their own show.
It really should.
And I don't think it even should have its own press conference. It should have its own Nintendo Direct style broadcast. That's split. There's a Madden one and a FIFA one.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, both of those games have such a huge audience that, you know, it is understandable why they do feature them in the way that they do. But I mean, I agree, because I'm not a huge sports fan. I mean, that's the point where I am going to be going and sort of like getting a fresh coffee to keep me awake for the rest of the day, because god damn it, Sony, 2 a.m. really? Come on, every time. It's just anyway. No,
And more
EA.
to the point, how many people that you know or that you think that exist are super into both American football and actual football? Like, and will buy both games. That is a tiny part of that Venn diagram. And what you end up with is half of the audience, I guess, just tuning out completely. Because like Europeans are like, what? We don't care when Madden comes on, and then all the Americans are like, what's this? This is an American show. Why we don't give a shit about FIFA? Why this is boring.
Even
Something
more
else
so
on.
this year for other reasons. But yeah, like
I really hope they put in. I really hope that's all in.
So it gets to the end of the season, and then suddenly it's like everything has gone down to hell. It'd be nice. But yes, so that
I hope it's going to play a bit like Syndicate.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
suddenly it gets into first person mode, and it's hunt down Blatter. Anyway, right, that is
You
EA.
you run around collecting. I think it'll be a bit like Pac-Man, and you go around collecting all these brown envelopes full of money.
Delicious, delicious bribey money.
Yes.
Right, so that is EA. Square Enix. What are we actually expecting from that, other than, oh look, here's the updated demo of Final Fantasy 15? which
Well,
seems to have less and less female characters in it with every passing second.
they've said that we're probably not going to see much of Final Fantasy 15. What we are going to see is Deus Ex. We are going to see a whole shit ton of Deus Ex.
I'm so looking forward to that.
We are also going to see a whole load of Final Fantasy 14, but that's okay. I mean, we already know Final Fantasy 14 is great. They'll probably feature that a bit more.
Yep.
But they'll also, I hope they're going to show us the new Hitman, seeing as I have been working on it for a while.
Yes.
I feel like the time's right to show that off, even if it's releasing next year. Great to see some of that.
Yeah, I do hope, though, in regards to Hitman, that I really do hope that they show that this game really is truly going to be the assassination sandbox that Absolution should have been. Because it was capable of that. You look at the contracts mode. It was fully capable of having that. But yes, I really hope that they show that they've learnt their lesson and also keep Kane and Lynch out of it this time. God's sakes.
But there's going to be loads more. I mean, there's going to be Kingdom Hearts 3, one assumes.
Yes.
There's going to be... I think they'll probably show a bit more in Nosgoth, maybe. Probably not very much. I hope that they make a big deal about Bravely Second, because Bravely Default is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And the sequel, I am told, I have on good authority, is even better. So I'm looking forward to that immensely. And remember, they've got Star Ocean as well. They announced.
Oh, very true. Yes, yeah, they have said that it's going to be a thing.
I hope that they're going to announce Western localization for that.
That would be good. Some actual gameplay. Nice.
They've also got Dragon Quest coming out this year. Dragon Quest Heroes on PS4. So there's going to be a big presentation for that as well. It's going to be a killer show. Actually,
now you think about it, it's going to be pretty big. I mean, there is going to be probably... Is there going to be a huge push for the mobile side of it as well? Like, obviously, we're going to have all these console games, but Square Enix have been pushing more and more into mobile over the last year or so. Do you think there's going to be a strong component of that in the press conference as well? Or do you think that would probably be the worst idea possible?
I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to advertise mobile stuff like that. I mean, mobile stuff like that basically sells itself. You don't need to stand up and do a big press conference about it because it's really cheap and it's on your phone.
Yeah.
I shouldn't think they'll go too big on that, to be honest. But I mean, there could be more. I mean, maybe there's rumblings about a Soul Reaver. What about Sleeping Dogs?
Yeah, we've all said that we want another Sleeping Dogs title. Considering
and there is one coming. Is that is it that
multiplayer? Triad Wars is it's Sleeping Dogs Light from what I've played of it, and it's they'll probably will feature that, but a true sequel exclusive to next gen consoles, so it can actually push the boundaries. I mean, we've seen the definitive edition looks fantastic, but yeah, a new Sleeping Dogs with new capabilities exclusive to next-gen consoles would be awesome. But yes, Brendan, what are your thoughts on the what we could actually see? Is there something that, if they were to announce, you would just go, yes, Square Enix have won this completely? Is there something that would make you do that?
I think a new legacy of Kane would make my day, really. I've always preferred him to like the Soul Reaver games, mainly because he's just such a shit. He's just... a badass, he's no sort of qualms about just eating people and leaping across whole streets and just annihilating them. Be great to see him back on consoles, really, because the online Nosgoth game's just been a slap in the face to me. It's like, I so don't want that. What is this?
It's alright. You just need a PC, mate. Just get on, crank up those settings, enjoy that free-to-play, monetized, storyless bullshit.
It'd be so easy, Brendan.
I'm trolling you. I really didn't love it.
No, it wasn't that enjoyable. I mean, we had a few laughs with it, as you can see in the game night videos that we did, but overall, I wasn't that impressed with it. So yeah, a new Legacy Kane would be pretty cool. So, right, there is one press conference left to quickly discuss Bethesda Fallout. I think that pretty much covers it.
It's weird, but I don't even feel they need to do it now.
No.
Like, that reveal, like, a few of our readers have said this. Breadster actually was the first commenter to say this. I feel like, why did Bethesda spoil the surprise? Like, we knew it was coming already. Why did they bother with that whole pre-reveal?
Yeah.
I think it's
Why?
so they can jump
Why?
straight into gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a
really.
Yeah, but they could do that anyway.
They've been a lot of companies have been doing that. I mean, you look at Sony with the trailers for Ratchet and Clank and a few others that have been out this week. Like, we've had these reveals. A lot of companies have been doing this, and it's really strange. Like, what are they going to fill the conferences up with?
Well, as much as anything, it's because stuff does get lost in the cracks at E3, and companies know this, and yet they keep turning up. Like, really, I'd love to see more companies say, no, we can't be bothered with E3. What's the point?
Yeah, so here's a big online reveal.
Half of our news will just get forgotten about. So, I mean, the thing is, that's why companies do this. But Fallout 4, that's not one of the things that will fall through the cracks.
No.
That's such a big deal. But either way, I still can't wait for the Bethesda event. We're going to see, as you've said, hopefully a whole bunch of gameplay. They've said that we will see a bunch of gameplay. And admittedly, the teaser was, super. I mean, it wasn't really a teaser. It was really long.
Yeah, it was a full-on trailer with a dog.
It was great.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll see a load more of it, loads more gameplay details. And at which point, I mean, all they'll probably say is, so it's Fallout.
Coming next
with
year.
Better graphics.
I mean, if they were to announce that it was coming this year, I think everybody would explode. Everybody would just be like,
well, lots of retailers have been saying that it's coming this year. So,
well, we shall see. Of course, there's also going to be Doom. There's going to be the proper reveal of that. I mean, Brendan, do you think that will be something that could potentially pique your interest? Or are you... Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's like one of the first-person shooters I played. Probably the one straight after Wolfenstein, really.
Yeah.
Back when I actually did a bit of gaming on my PC back in the 90s. Basically, whatever freeware came on it. But yeah, I mean, why the hell not? Just show us some of it, because I've been Rick Astley'd so many times when looking for gameplay after that private presentation.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see that, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I would love to see some new Wolfenstein. Like, I know we've only just had the Old Blood, which is again just as fantastic as the New Order, but something new would be awesome. Like, I'd give us more. Machine Games, seriously, give us more of your awesome stylized shooter in us. Like, yes, please. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of them, and it leaves one question.
Wait. Before we get to that, do you guys think that they're likely to reveal something like Dishonored 2?
Ooh, that's a good point. Almost certainly. There have been rumblings, haven't there?
You know what I want to reveal.
I think we all want, Prey 2. Yes,
Prey
that's
2
what we want.
is the best game that's never going to be made. I'd love them to announce that. They've clearly just canned that forever. But they could well announce Dishonored 2. I mean, the time is right. It's been a fair few years now.
Yep, absolutely.
And they must have been working on it. It's the sort of game that doesn't necessarily need a sequel, but we really want one. So I wonder if we'll see that.
I mean, like you say, there have been...
Something new from Tango Gameworks would be good as well.
Yeah.
Seeing as he's well clear of the evil within. Something good from something new from Mikami might go down pretty well. Especially if that announcement happens to be the rumoured Vanquish 2.
Now that would be fantastic.
Remember, Vanquish wasn't just Vanquish. Vanquish was developed when Mikami was actually part of Platinum before he went and joined. He went solo and then joined Tango, or created Tango, should I say? But it's Mikami's a huge part of Vanquish. You can't really make the game without him, and he now works for Bethesda. But Platinum need a publisher. They don't self-publish. They always have someone else to do the publishing for them.
Yeah.
So if Vanquish 2 does exist, the only way they can make it is Bethesda publishing. So I wonder if they're going to be ready. There is going to be a new Platinum reveal. And they have their Twitter account has been teasing like, hey, wasn't Vanquish great? With a little screenshot
Remember
just recently,
kids?
just the other day, it's like, so Vanquish was sweet, wasn't it? I just no reason, just thought I'd mention it. So I don't know, it probably won't be Vanquish 2, but if it is, I mean, I wonder if they'll announce. You've got to assume that Bethesda will publish it. Unless, of course, Nintendo publish it and they do another awesome console deal.
Again, that would be just that would surprise a lot of people.
But I mean, that's a wild card. I've got no idea.
That's Platinum in a nutshell. The wild card of development. Like it's yeah.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it could equally be Revengeance 2. I'd love it if it was Revengeance 2.
I would absolutely be all over that.
It could equally be all manner.
Yeah. So yeah, right. Let's wrap this up by asking the big question: who do we think is going to win E3? Brendan.
As far as like what's going to have the most games to look forward to at Christmas, I think it's going to be Microsoft quite comfortably. Really, they've put off so many big games. Like, oh, they can't fit them in. We'll show them at Gamescom, and I'm like, fuck. If you can afford to send those titles to Gamescom instead of E3, you're clearly just going to blow.
Well, they clearly haven't made the new CG trailers yet.
Oh, that's, yeah, I saw that. I can't remember. It was just like, yeah. John, who do you think's going to win E3?
Well, part of me wants to say Sony, only because I completely forgot about Persona 5.
Oh, God, yes.
Which is also coming out. I mean, I'm ill, so got me some slack here. But that game's coming out this year, too.
Yep.
I mean, the reveal trailer got and you know, a lot of people see JRPGs as a niche genre, but they really aren't. That reveal trailer got 1 million views in 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's people are excited about this, and so are we, because Persona's the shit.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't know. I'm torn actually between Microsoft and Square. I think that Square could actually have a really good show if they actually bring all of their big guns to the table. While I agree with you, Brendan, I think Microsoft are going to just... I think, well, it's a bit sad, but I think once again they're going to show the Xbox One has the best games available right now, has the best games this year, and everyone's going to go, yeah, but I already bought a PS4 at launch, and I'm not going to get one.
I'd say it's all about blockbusters at E3. I mean,
yeah.
We love like the smaller games, but as far as like blockbusters go, like big ass system sellers that are going to be all over TV and every advert everywhere, it's
Microsoft.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's Nintendo. But it's going to be Microsoft.
I can't fault that thought. I really can't. I mean, as much as I would like to put trust in Square, I don't have trust for Square. Not after Final Fantasy last year. So, yeah, I agree. Microsoft, there's a lot of expectation for them to do well because they now have the capacity. They've managed to get the Xbox One back on message, and they've been doing well. I mean, they still are behind, but they've got the capacity to really make a huge impact this year. Sony, again, like you said, like they could surprise us, but it really is, I think, that they're going to coast it again this year, which is a shame, but admittingly, we know that Uncharted's coming and a few others. But I agree. I think Microsoft are they're the safe bet, I think, in terms of the ones that will make the best impact this year at E3.
Yeah, and I think they, we said in the Impressionist piece, I think they smell blood in the water a little bit because Uncharted 4 has been delayed, Zelda has been delayed. Yeah. Microsoft have all the games. Like, they've got the big games, they've got the momentum behind them, and I think they're going to take full advantage of that.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that is our thoughts on E3, which is happening next week, and be sure to stay on site over on Deals Upon because we will be covering it all. We'll be doing live reactions on Twitter. We'll be giving you our responses after the press conferences themselves, and we'll be bringing you the latest news as it goes up. So do stay tuned to the site for that. But
remember to vote in the troll poll.
Oh yes, in the troll poll.
If you agree, or even better, if you disagree with our opinions of who will win E3, cast your vote and tell us why.
Yeah, that is on site right now, as I believe. So yes, get involved. Show us. Pay that toll for the troll poll and get involved.
You've got to pay the troll poll.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, that has been the Game Buzz. Thank you ever so much for listening, and we will see you next week for all of the E3 goodness. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.